I was looking for some normal PC VR games to play, and I did find it was the Resident Evil Village. I think it was supported on PlayStation VR, well, not PC VR, but there was a mod by some guy called Sprite Dog, Sprush Dog, or something like that. I can't remember. It's dog something, Spray. I think it's Spray Dog. Anyway, he did a mod for PC VR for it, so I might get hold of that and test it out. But I have a feeling it's going to be really difficult to, because the thing is I'm using my CPU to record, and the good thing about VR, this game, VR chat, is that it doesn't use your much of your CPU. Because when I'm recording, I'm using about 20% of my CPU. Because I made it, I've got to be careful, I'm not speaking too high with my voice meter. But I made a stupid decision. I've gone back in a circle here because I'm talking. I made a stupid decision of when I rebuilt my PC, I spent a stupid amount of money on it because I got some savings. So the money I spent on it, I designed it to be more of a media PC, so I could play 4K movies and also convert them 4K, like compress them 4K movies down. So I didn't see the need of having a good CPU. I just needed a good GPU, a graphics card, to process that video. So I went with the cheapest CPU and then overclocked it, which was an AMD one. Now I think it's only like a 6 core, maybe. I think not an 8 core, it's a 6 core. So I'm regretting it now. I wish I went for more of a gaming CPU, because obviously when you're recording, it's using 20% of your CPU just recording. So now when I actually play PC VR games, it's harder for me to record because it will use more CPU, and it's processing like the AI for the characters in the game, because this hasn't got any AI characters really. So that will just eat the CPU. So I'm not sure what to do with that. There is a few more settings I can do, but it's probably going to lower the quality of the video footage. But I suppose if I've got no choice, then that's the only way I'm going to have to go. I could probably lower the graphical settings and then offload the recording to the GPU instead. Because with NVIDIA, it's got the ray tracing cores. Not the AI cores, the ray tracing cores. So if I turn off the ray tracing and use the recording software to use the ray tracing cores instead, but obviously it gives off more heat for the graphics card, which will then thermal throttle the overclock I've got on it as well. So that's going to be awkward. I'm going to have to figure all that out, I guess. This is supposed to explain the story behind it, but I think with me not having any audio, I'm not really understanding what's happening here. I watched a whole load of movies as well where I have not been gaming or doing any VR stuff. And with my memory, I watch a movie. Like I watched 2 movies one day, and the next day I won't even remember what I watched. That's how bad my memory is. And just before starting this video, I was trying to remember the movies I've watched, and I can only remember, I've watched probably 10, but I can only remember after thinking about it for a while I was setting this up, I've only watched the Batman, the old 1990s Batman, but I only watched it to the, oh, that's moving, moths. I thought they were Cause I'm gonna have to Google that name because was it cicadas, but they actually look like moths. Yeah. So I only watched the Batman movies. Meteorite, right? Asteroid, meteorite. Um, I only watched the Batman movies up to Robin and Batman one. It does seem like they're getting worse as time goes on as well. Like the movies, are never because I watched these when I was a little kid, and it's really you really see how you're not as nearly as critical with movies as you're critical or critic. You're not as can't think of a word if I'm using the right word. Yeah, I think it's critical. You're not as critical as the movies when you're younger. Watching them movies, man, I liked them. They were when I was younger. They they were more of a popcorn flicker. You'd sit down and watch it. Do you know what I mean? Like you didn't really think about anything in it. But then, as an adult, you notice the subtle Hollywood messaging in it as well. So like you're picking up on certain things and like you didn't notice before. But obviously, what that was then is nowhere near to what it is now. There's a player there. So, but like I said, I don't think there was. When I say you notice the messaging, I don't think there was any pretty much next to no messaging in it to begin with. But I'm just noticing what I'm trying to say is that you don't, as a child, you're just engrossed in what's happening rather than what everything else is. Do you know what I mean? It's really hard to describe. Like you don't care as much as a child as like I didn't even realize as well that they changed the actor. That as a child, I thought it was the same actor all the way through. It's only watching it as an adult I realized the actors actually changed. I thought it was the same actor. Like that's how little I recognize things as a child, which makes you wonder as well. Like these modern movies, when they appeal to younger audience, they're doing it because they know the older audience is going to pick up on the messaging with the heavy messaging they have in it now. So they try and target the younger audience, knowing that they're not that the younger audience isn't going to care at all, and they're just going to go, oh, pretty colours, that's good enough for me. Because that's what I was like as a child. Yeah, so was it the Val Kilmer, whatever his name is? I didn't notice that he was even in it. It was him from Top Gun. I was going to say Top Gear then. I was hoping to get to that person, but they've disappeared. That's why I'm going back and forth. I thought they was there. What kind of frame rate am I getting here? Ping's pretty bad. Alright, because it's public world. I'm actually really surprised. I thought I'd have someone at least screaming in my ear because I've got the volume for voices all the way up as well. Actually, I've got earmuffs on, so yes, that's off at the moment. I keep hearing rumbles, but I think it's outside my house.